welcome here at the ZTE booth at IFA 2018. It's a pleasure for us to have you all with us. It's great to see such a large amount of media representatives being interested in ZTE and the latest product developments, and that's what we're going to show you in just a few minutes. And for this, I'd like to introduce you to Jeff Yee, the Vice President of Product Marketing and Strategy from ZTE. You're welcome.
All right, welcome to IFA 2018. As Carson mentioned, I'm Jeff Yee. My role is Vice President of Product Marketing and Strategy at ZTE. And today we're going to discuss our latest products. And I know we've been a little bit quiet the past few months, so I hope we haven't kept you waiting too long. Start first with just a thank you. A thank you to all of you for your participation and to our support of our company. At this moment, ZTE Mobile Devices has fully resumed operations, including product development, supply chain, customer support, all fully resumed at ZTE. And we'd like to take this time to show our sincere appreciation to our customers and to our partners who have supported us throughout. So on behalf of ZTE, just a very, very big thank you. And now, I'd like to discuss our commitment to a consumer-centric approach, focused on innovation and focused on experience. We're going to introduce our latest innovation today, which is our flagship Axon. But first, I want to talk a little bit about 5G and the experience that you can expect to see in 2019 and early 2020. So when we talk about 5G, right, and network improvements, these are three of the many features that will be communicated to consumers. Faster data speeds, lower latency, and more connections. Right, more connections designed to handle the many IoT devices that are expected in the near future. And ZTE's infrastructure group is busy right now rolling out 5G with carriers around the world. And so now we can give you a glimpse of the 5G technology that will start to make its way into devices. So for consumer electronics, 5G presents a lot of challenges. Right, but these are challenges that ZTE has been working on for many years. Right, that gives us an advantage. I'll just give you some of the examples. Right, global bands, and antenna design. The radio interference between 4G and 5G, and how does that work? Right, power management for power transmission is much higher with 5G. And we also have to consider more components now packed into a very small space. Right, but the average consumer doesn't come to ZTE and say, oh, what challenges do you have building it? The average consumer will say, all right, what does 5G mean for me, and what are those devices going to look like? So, I'm going to give you a preview today of what's to come. And we expect these categories of devices to roll out in 5G in 2019 and some into early 2020. All right, I'm going to briefly describe each one, and I'll highlight the features and benefits that 5G will bring. Let's start with first the phones. Right, we often talk about download speeds, but overlooked is the very low latency of 5G, roughly 1 millisecond or so. And what that means to a consumer, instead of click and wait, right, expect constant content to start instantaneously, low latency. As a result, we're likely to see more broadcast applications, more connected streaming apps like VR applications with 5G. All right, a preview now of tablets. 5G has incredibly fast data speeds, right? Soon you're going to see 10 gigabits per second to 5G eventually. Fast enough to support 4K streaming, eventually 8K streaming. And so you'll see very soon tablets with that level of resolution and detail coming out. All right, simultaneous connections. All right, 5G supports a lot. 1 million for every square kilometer. But a ZTE device means that not only does it have to connect directly to a cell site, but with a ZTE or outdoor ZTE, it provides data for everyone. And I'll give you an example, like a sports venue. In that case, you can be running 5G speeds even if you have an older older phone and connect over Wi-Fi, you still get the benefit of 5G in a large venue. What that means, like a sporting event, I can now take HD video and be streaming it instantaneously to family and friends. So that's one category of CPE called outdoor CPE, and another one is indoor. Right, so there are also great solutions for managing any Wi-Fi device in the home. And now with 5G's fast speeds, we expect cord cutting, right, to accelerate. That means that TV and internet service will be broadcast over wireless instead of wireline. And our CPE device, our indoor CPE device, is capable of powering literally every device in your home. So that was a quick preview of 5G. Hopefully you're as excited as we are for next year. Well, let's get to this year. All right, I want to turn our attention to Axon. Axon is our flagship device. When we launched the Axon series, we set the industry bar for audio. Right, Axon is well known for its amazing sound, but capturing life's memories is more than sound alone, right? Because our main senses capture both sight and sound. So we set out to raise the bar once again. And this time not just for sound, but also for sight. And we wanted to build a phone with a visual display for apps, for photos, for videos, that matches the color and the beauty of life itself. We also wanted to build a smarter phone, right? One that is able to anticipate what a user will do next. And we wanted to build an amazing camera, and not only because it's one of the most important features to a consumer, but our focus and attention is on sight and sound, and it's the lens that really captures life's beauty. So here at IFA, we're pleased to announce the next generation of Axon, and this here is the Axon 9 Pro. Signature feature. And as we aim to set a new benchmark, our benchmark was not against mobile devices. Our benchmark was against TVs. Right, so to set the bar, we added a new chip, we added a new sensor, we optimized the display, we wrote a lot of software. And our goal was everything in your TV plus more. So I'm going to describe two features that you find typically in high-end TVs, and then I will describe one feature that goes beyond that. Now the first technology that I'm going to introduce is called MEMC, Motion Estimation, Motion Compensation, which you do find in high-end TVs, and now we're introducing it to mobile. And to explain it, typically a video source might be 24 or 30 frames per second. Right, and that can cause judder or blur, really depending on the motion or objects that are moving throughout that video. But when we take it to 60 frames per second, the video appears much smoother to the consumer. But it's not simple, right, when the content source is capped at frame rate. So with a MEMC chip, we're processing up to 500 million pixels every second to be able to estimate the motion and create new frames. And then with frame insertion, we can guarantee 60 FPS of playback, even when the content source is less than that. So that's MEMC. HDR, high dynamic range. Right, it's another technology that's been in TVs for a few years, and the HDR experience is much better, as you can see from the comparison on the screen. Colors are true to life, right, much closer to the spectrum and the range that can be detected by the human eyes. Now with this dedicated display chip that we're using, we're able to support a 1,000,000:1 dynamic contrast ratio for anything that's processed to the screen. Right? That means true to life colors for photos, for videos, and any app, literally any app on the Axon 9 Pro. Now the sharpness and the vivid display is amazing, especially for apps like games. But I mentioned earlier that Axon Vision is everything in your TV plus more. And one difference between phones and TVs is that your mobile needs to account for various conditions, right? Like outdoors. An auto-adaptive display detects the surrounding light and automatically adjusts both the color temperature and the backlight intensity depending on condition. And not only will it increase the clarity, but it actually helps to reduce eye fatigue as well. All right, next I'm going to highlight some of the features that we put into the new Axon. Right, because our objective is to simplify tasks using AI to make it easier for the consumer. And AI is now making its way into the camera. Over here you'll have a chance to demonstrate, for example, tapping on an object and while it's in motion keeping that focus point. We're being able to select automatic triggers. These are some of the new AI features from the camera. In addition, we have more AI to app management, such as self-starting application or automatically closing high power consumption applications. And then lastly for AI, we continue to work with Google and we've made it very easy to launch the Google Assistant for even more AI-related tasks. Now the camera hardware, it's impressive. On the front, we're using a 20 megapixel sensor, and this includes the ability to unlock the phone using facial recognition. On the rear, we're using a 20 plus 12 megapixel configuration. Right, so one is a wide-angle lens. It's able to capture 130 degrees, and the other is a 12 megapixel lens with an optical image stabilizer. And then we're also using the latest in PDAF technology, phase detection 2.0. What this means to a consumer is much, much faster autofocusing now. Now, lastly, because the gorgeous display that we've added, pictures can be taken in HDR, but they can also be viewed in HDR. You'll see some examples later today. Now, capturing life moments is about sight and it's about sound. We strive once again to improve the impressive sound of Axon. We set the bar with Axon for a series and we need to continue to improve it. So we kept the dual speakers. Right, we optimized the immersive audio experience, continue to have a dedicated chip for processing sound, and the latest in Dolby Atmos for pure hi-fi sound. But now to optimize sound, we've also have moved to USB-C as the interface now for external devices. And the result is an amazing experience. We're listening to music, but also now watching videos, especially when you consider using the Axon Vision display with a combination of just pure hi-fi sound. It's amazing. Now, I covered some of the signature features of Axon, but there's really a lot more than that. For the international version of the software, we use a stock Android, nearly stock Android experience, and that includes quick access to Google's Assistant and Feed. The new Axon is waterproof. It's IP68 compliant. It supports wireless charging using the Qi standard. And it not only supports facial recognition, but also other recognition technologies such as triggers for the camera based on smiles. So it's a very detailed camera. And lastly, the back is scratch resistant to a hardness level of 7H. Right, so this generation Axon has so much more if you compare it to the previous generation. Here are the complete specs of the new Axon 9 Pro. You can see it's powered by the latest Snapdragon processor. Has a large 4,000 milliamp hour battery and a generous configuration of RAM and storage. It's a 6+128 configuration for memory. In addition to a near stock Android experience, ZTE is also committed to doing regular software updates. And we're pleased to announce here at IFA that the Axon 9 Pro will be available at a price of 649 euros. And we're announcing it today at IFA because Germany is going to be one of the first markets to launch the Axon 9 Pro. After that, it will be shortly available in other markets in Europe and also in Asia. Now, I mentioned at the very beginning of this presentation that ZTE has fully resumed operations. And I can't think of a better way to prove to consumers that they can put their trust in ZTE and our innovation than by launching the flagship product. Because it's a phone that demonstrates our ability to listen to consumers and to put the features that they care about most in the palm of their hands. The Axon 9 Pro. And with that, I'd like to share a quick video that really highlights the amazing experience of the Axon 9 Pro. Axon Vision truly is amazing, and you'll have a chance to experience it for yourself here at our booth. So I want to thank you for coming today, and I will make myself available. I'll be here at the booth to help answer any questions. So thank you on behalf of ZTE, and I'll let Carsten wrap it up.
Okay, just a quick note, as Jeff just mentioned, thanks very much for the nice presentation of the Axon 9 Pro. Just to let you know, as Jeff just said, there's an area to try out the Axon 9 Pro by yourself. We know you guys have a tight schedule, but just use the opportunity to have a hands-on on the phone and also have some drinks and food. And thank you very much again for showing up. If there's any further questions, you're happy and welcome. Everybody is around to help you out. With regards to the press release and the respective pictures, we're going to send out a link to a Dropbox file just after you left the booth here, so you'll find that in your email account, and you can download pictures and the official information and technical data of the product. Thank you very much for showing up, and have a great day.